can't I hear? Oh, I got the wrong headphones on. LOL. 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 Oh, yeah. I'm quite loud. There we go. All right. I wonder if this works. So stupid. All right, what other sound effects are on this board? No, I don't want that. All right, there's that. No. Okay. Well, the less said about that, the better. Let's get to work. I played yourself to death in me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm riddled with insomnia. Mm-hmm. There we go. So up in this guy and down switch. Whew. Yeah, normally I would go in the morning and take a big old stroll, but this morning, not happening. There's wind and hail and all kinds of what have you floating around. Now, let me get this idiot out of here. Mm-hmm. All right. And then, all right, so let's take a look at, oh, what's up, DNSK? Hell. Let's see. So, Lono Cres. Next chapter. Hold on, this is old. This is Royal Road where we're posting the stories. And I just like to check in on who has commented and stuff. It's pretty thin at the moment, honestly. Um, but there's this one guy, Lord Karai, who says thank you for the chapters. So they have a reputation system here. So I always just give him reputation because I'm happy to have anybody saying anything at all on this. It really takes a while to build up. Actually, hold on, let me get over here. I want to see how my ad is doing on here. So it's kind of one of the only places I advertise. Um, and all it does is just make like a little ad pop up on people's feeds on this site so that they can take a gander. Let's see. Let me see what the views and stuff are like on this. Analytics, dashboard. Where's advanced analytics? Here, let me get to where I can actually see this whole frame here. Let's see, advertising. Let me see, how far along is this campaign? Da, 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 da. All right, so active for the Martillo, about 90,000 people have seen an ad for this thing, which means that, oh, wow, yeah, it's not stellar, which means that we've gotten 413 clicks so far on this guy. So our click through rate, this is the worst click through rate. Well, no, I had a really bad one on Zeros. So I'm going to change up our ad at some point today. The best click through rate that I managed was about 60.67% with my ad for Gravid. And that one, yeah. So, and also I want to do a new title, or not title. God, it's too early. I want to do a new cover for this piece because I think the cover is not really drawing people. But what's nice about stuff like Royal Road and what have you is that you can. It's like a free place to like try out whatever you want to try and do some stuff where the stakes are not too high. You know, this isn't publication. It's not the end of the world if like a chapter is wrong or whatever. So it's really like a good spot to work out your drafts. Man, I'm froggy as hell. I did not realize I was this compromised this morning. But yeah, so we're on editing day 8 here. It'd be great to like by day 10 have like a better cover. I think I'm gonna have to do like an actual photo shoot with just like stuff I've got around the house and so forth, like old paintbrushes and dice and jazz like that. I think it would work. All right, let's update our date. So in 8 days, we have done 9 chapters. So, but realistically, what it is 26 days. We have done 9 chapters. So, really need to buff up the amount that we're working here. It's not enough. And the best way to do that is starting early and maybe getting another session in later today. With the other books that I've done, I really, I used to be able to get at this for like 4 to 6 hours a day sometimes. But generally, I have about 2 hours of juice in me. And then maybe like 3 or 4 if I'm drinking a lot of coffee. All right, so I don't remember what chapter 10 is, but let's get on to it, and then we can come up with a title for it. Breakfast is ready, conejito. I wrote this entire thing in Spanish because I think it's funny. Una knocked 3 times. There was no answer. Una knocked 3 times. No answer. There was a wrench in her chest. A lotteria card fluttered at the back of her mind. He's gone. She banged harder. I'm not hungry, a small voice protested. Get up and get dressed. It's after 8. I have a surprise for you today. She could almost hear Robin's eyes pop open. Una smiled and went back to the unfamiliar meal on the kitchen table. Mm-hmm. Una smiled and set the unfamiliar meal on the kitchen table. All her life, she'd made variations on one of 3 breakfasts. Enfrioladas, huevos con chorizo, sometimes tortillas. Wait, this should be a rolled R. I wonder how long it would take me to just sit there and learn to like roll the R, because I need it for both Spanish and Portuguese, and I just can't roll torrijas, torrijas, torrijas. I sound like a child. Torrijas, torrijas. Sometimes torrijas on Easter or on a birthday. Robin had no appetite for any of them. Yeah, that'll get me kicked out of Peru right away. Robin had no appetite for any of them. Mm-hmm. Earlier that week, Robin somehow choked on his scrambled eggs. Una had to arrive. It's bad when you're choking on eggs. Earlier that week, Robin somehow choked on his scrambled eggs. Una had to rush over and thwack him on the back. Afterward, comma. How does it miss all these commas? I think I don't understand. So like a leading time. I should also know what the word is for this part of speech. So afterward is a word that like places something in time, and usually after like a time clause, uh, I would have a comment. Let's ask a fucking AI. Na, 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 na. All right. All right. Short single word introductory phrase. Leaving the comma out isn't grammatically wrong as long as the sentence remains easy to read. Highly recommended because it provides a necessary pause, prevents the reader's eyes from bunching a bunch of words together, and mimics the natural rhythm of speech. Afterward is an adverb of time. All right, so I should have known all of these. Da, 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 da. All right, thank you, Google. This is so poisonous that all the things that I should know are just being filled in by a robot. And soon, too, I will be replaced by a robot. You will be replaced by a robot. There will be nothing left on this barren earth but data centers and trilobites. You have been warned. Actually, I don't think there are any trilobites in Extant at this point, but they'll come back. They're the apex predator of RAM. Afterwards, she felt so guilty and miserable that she wept in the bathroom. Yeah. I don't really need the guilty and miserable part. Afterwards, she wept in the bathroom, muffling her sobs with a hand towel. When she calmed down, mm-hmm, I put 50% of my pension savings into cutting edge technology bonds and shares, so I hope we will be replaced by robots. So I can live on my pension like a boss. Honestly, I would just um, put my like 100% of my pension savings into a kilo of rock cocaine and start selling it at this rate. Like market volatility is going to be insane for the next. Like, just think about what's going to happen in the market when Trump dies. After being strangled by his son Baron, and then Baron says that he's the God Emperor of Dune, and by Dune I mean Nevada, and we have a prescient theocracy running out of Las Vegas. It's gonna happen, buddy. But yeah, it's a weird time to invest for me. But I don't like investing. I don't feel. I don't like having money. Obviously, that's why I chose to write. And it just makes me super unhappy to have it invested. My retirement plan is I want to die like Jesus Christ. I want to die on a sunny day. Ugh. Shout out to Jesus and Mary Jane. How did those guys not get canceled? Like 90% of their songs were about sleeping with 14-year-olds and still like a rockin' fucking band. Oh, no, uh, I'm just cursed on stream. I gotta, every time I curse on stream, DNSK, I'm having to put $1 into the tippy jar. I need to make a leaderboard for this and Mariana Cross. Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. I gotta tell you, like one of the things that I like least about having to edit this stuff and so forth is that I just find like when I write stuff out, so often I like get to the point of where I want to be, and then write like a paragraph that explains it, or two paragraphs, or like 2 pages, or something like that, and then later I have to go back and fix it, and it's really just like a rut I fall into there, and it's so common in my writing that I wish I could kind of like break it early on in the morning or early on in the process so that I could get through it. But all right, let's try this out. Earlier that week, Robin somehow choked on his scrambled eggs. Una had to rush over and thwack him on the back. Afterwards, she wept in the bathroom, muffling her sobs with a hand towel. She made a frantic call to Dr. Suarez and scratched down recipe notes on a legal pad. This morning, Robin's plate had a scoop of cottage cheese, oatmeal with finely diced strawberries, and a slice of toast soaked in milk with smooth peanut butter. Robin emerged from. Mm-hmm. uh, Robin emerged from his room and eyed the breakfast with suspicion. Yeah, see, that's. Fuck. I'm sick. Um, yeah. Robin emerged from his room at last and eyed the breakfast suspiciously. Una didn't care. Una didn't care for it either, but it didn't matter. The boy had to eat. Yeah, it's still like a little clunky here. Hopefully, we'll get some more traction in a later pass, but I do not have a lot of mana this morning. What's the surprise? Robin asked. I'll tell you as soon as you eat, Una promised. Mm-hmm. So, one of the things we try to remove a lot in this is like dialogue tags where it's clear who the speaker is. So, you could even just have what's the surprise here, But I'm going to leave that to the editor because I'm going to err on the side of clarity and let another human being who has not written this entire story just kind of deal with the parts, like figuring out like what's what and who's who and Jew's Jew and all that good stuff. Robin's mouth made a flat line. He knew better than to complain. The soldiers they soldiered through breakfast together in silence. Una could remember the first time Robin came to live with her. He'd wolfed down everything she put in front of him and always wanted seconds. Yeah. And always asked for seconds. I wonder if seconds is like, yeah, I guess it's kind of understood. Like seconds means a second helping and blah blah blah. let's let's take out the smooth peanut butter part of this here. Because smooth peanut butter is actually kind of hard to eat. Apparently, peanut butter is a choking hazard for children. So wonders never cease. Let's see. Oh, DNSK. Like, have you seen one? Do you see this? Here, let me see this crazy Euroraki machine I got going in the background. Like when I start to actually do the show again, I got like a wall of Eurorack that I'm gonna put into whatever. Don't tell anybody, but it's a secret just between us. But I gotta lose like 60 pounds before I'm gonna put myself on camera again. Jesus, I'm so fat. Mm. I think I'm gonna go on that Wegovy, but instead of Wegovy, it's just amphetamines. So, like Philip K. Dick, and then write my masterpiece of strung out drug addiction, and then fade into the sunset. All right, let's look at this paragraph again. Robin's mouth made a flat line. He knew better than to complain. They soldiered through. Yeah. This thing's kind of cool. So, I really, I'll get some cables and like hook this guy up there. I think this is like a quasi-generative patch that I have going on here, working off of the. Yeah, it's working off the this Bloom sequencer there. I might get the V3 of that at some point there. Um, but yeah, I just want to have like a bunch of cool stuff in the background, like a real streamer. But the environment here is so bad in Romania. They just constant noise from the other, like I guess they're like council flats over here, and just there's like kids and dogs and everything here, like clanks and creaks and so forth. And I have like a rickety box fan making noise in the other one. I'm kind of like wondering whether or not it makes sense to like air condition this space. I might work on it a little bit, so I could just chill it off and then stream and then take a break for like half an hour, let the AC run. All right. Robin's mouth made a flat line. He knew better than to complain. They they soldiered through the bland breakfast in silence. Una could remember the first time Robin came to live with her. He'd wolfed down everything she put in front of him and always asked for seconds. We need an at the time. At the time, she'd worried he might eat her out of house and home. Now he labored to finish a slice of milk toast. They both saved the cottage cheese for last. You don't like it either? Robin guessed. I like it just fine, Una lied. Robin laughed at her. The hollows under his eyes were darker, but his spirits were a little brighter at the prospect of a surprise. But his spirits had brightened at the prospect of a surprise. He began to clear the table and do the dishes. I can do that if you don't feel up to it, Una offered. I can do that if you don't feel up to it. I can do it. Robin grabbed the plates away. He hated to be babied. For the 10,000th time, Una wondered who his father was and what he was like. That pride wasn't from his mother. Yeah. That pride hadn't come from his mother. Not once in her life had Lucinda ever done dishes without grumbling. I'll get the surprise, Una said. Again, she had his full attention. All right, let's try that. Again, she had his full attention. She creaked out to the car. Yeah. Feeling the weather's shift in her hip. There was a smell of rain on the wind, a welcome relief from the heat. She returned with a cardboard box. It was heavy and thunked against the kitchen table as she set it down. What's this? Robin asked. It's you. Una opened the box and produced a small ceramic bird. Yeah. Robin squinted at the clay robin. Robin squinted at the clay robin. There were many kinds of birds in the box. Cardinals, bluebirds, goldfinches, and a painted bunting. There should be a comma there. Oxford comma. Nigga. I wonder if that sentence has ever been uttered. Let's check Google. All right. Search operators were not applied. Too few matches were found. First time ever uttered by yours truly. Old Zach ZYZ. All right, let's see. Robin squinted at the clay robin. There were many kinds of birds in the box. Cardinals, bluebirds, goldfinches, and a painted bunting. There was a spray can of titanium white primer, a dozen colors of paint, and a selection of brushes. Underneath it all was an instruction manual. Birds? Robin was flummoxed. I asked Father Domingo how we could make some pocket money for you. I asked Father Domingo how we could make some pocket money for you. Yeah, that's a hard sentence to say. I asked Father Domingo how you could make some pocket money. This is a program for people who are laid up at home. Kick Bounties says, I got 500 subs on the line. Download Mecha Chameleon. And what is this nonsense? I'm not going to do this bullshit. Kick Bounties. Need content for the next 20 minutes. I have content for the next 400 hours editing this thing. Disgusting. I'm not going to click your link, and I don't think anybody else is going to click it either. Kick Bounties. Mecha Chameleon. Ugh. I'm sure that is put together by like a crack team of vibe coding slop. No, it's not a scam. It's I think Kick just does this here. I wonder if I can block their dumb bounty thing. Add to restream block. Yeah, I can kick them off of the restreams block list. I can't ban them on Kick, but I can remove them so they don't show up on the stream. It's just like a gimmick that they do. They get people to. I'm sure that they're losing money, right? When was the last time that you heard about Kick? And they're banning people just like Twitch and so forth. It's just, it is what it is. Ain't what it ain't. Either you can or you can't. Let me see. Birds? Robin was flummoxed. I asked Father Domingo how you could make some pocket money. This is a program for people who are laid up at home. The company pays 50 cents for each bird you paint, and the church gets a quarter on top of that. People put them in their gardens. I thought we could paint some together, and you can use the money to buy some of those toy soldiers. Robin's eyebrows leapt at the idea. He began to calculate at once. How long does it take to paint a bird? We'll have to see. Father Domingo says it's slow at first, but it's not bad once you get the hang of it. You have to do a good job painting them and follow the manual exactly, or the company won't take them. They gave us 2 bluebirds to practice on. Well, that sounds easy. I can do that, Robin said. It's good practice, too, for painting your own soldiers. It's good practice for painting your own soldiers. Let's start slow. We don't want to run out of paint. The wind wailed outside and thunder rumbled a long way off. Robin hardly seemed to notice. He could not wait to begin. It was a perfect day for arts and crafts. Oh, it's kind of sweet. All right. So we're going to entitle this chapter, It's You. I like that one. So let me show you how this goes here. So I take the chapter that we just edited. I didn't give out any points because I think you're more techno than edit bro. So you go here. Here's Royal Roadie. And then I'm going to go to write. I'm going to add a chapter to Robin the Prodigy. Chapter 10. There. We just paste in this old chapter content. If we wanted to, we could even put the live stream. Yeah, let's comment the live stream, because I think I have a YouTube tab open that shows where this is at. Copy video URL. Wait, have I just been on the... Wait. Oh, yeah. That's not live. Okay, cool. And then... Live edit in progress. And then I can even paste the leaderboard in here. So that people know. And also, so I have a record in case I like close the link or what have you. Live edit in progress, and then I can... I like this part. I like kind of gamifying this. The edit ace hat. So Sloth is really winning this guy right now. Mm-hmm. Let's see. All right, cool. So let's post this chapter up. And it's pretty early in the morning. So here's the chapter being published. So that's pretty much it. Oh, completely redesigned with a modern interface. Oh, that's not good. Uh, oh, that's no bueno. Threaded private messages, personalized. Let's not do that right now. So then we can go to the front page of Royal Load, and we can see that Robin the Prodigy has popped up to like almost the top of the reader board, and it puts multiple chapters there if you are consistent with it. And really, what a lot of people advise is that sort of very consistently um, publishing your stuff is a good way to stay on top of those latest updates here. This is one of the main ways to get this to happen. The other way is that I could possibly bot my way to the top of Rising Stars because it's about how many like followers and stuff you have there. I'm not feeling the heart to cheat at the moment. I like the story to make it on its own regards, but it's hard because I just have had so many familial issues in the last little bit that have been thwarting my desire to edit this thing. It really has been a hard month for me. But July, it should just be me. So that I'm happier about. So hold on. Let me see. I don't know why Restream keeps putting the wrong thumbnail on stuff either. I'm gonna have to go to Restream and fix it, I think. Maybe I can fix that live in the mix while because we're gonna do another chapter in a second here. I've already decided. Let me go to Restream. All right, so edit event. Yeah, why is yeah, it's like putting in this wrong thing. Yeah, update titles. Oh yeah, this is why. All right, this I can actually fix. All right. So there's like a sub level of permissions above this whole one. Robin Placard, crop, and let's see. And then let's go to the YouTube definition of this thing. More daily writing and editing stream with veteran hack, Zach ZYZ. Zach ZYZ. And Haku Apta, whatever. Okay, so let's update that. I had to subscribe for this whole thing. And then, let's see, edit event. Yeah. I don't know why. I'll have to fix this later. Yeah, you can't fix it in the mix, sadly. Norm Mackie Donald. What's in my YouTube feed? The nausea-inducing psychoacoustics of the Orban stereo synthesizer. Well, that's great. WPIG TV 24. What is WPIG TV? I have no idea what this is, but it's a 24/7 broadcast. Something about a judge and then Norm MacDonald. That sounds about right to me. All right, let's get back to editing. What time is it in Sweden right now? Let's see. Let's Diario de Martillo Part 2. Woke from a terrible dream. Psychoacoustics is one of my larger interests. It's 11:08 a.m. That sounds about right. All right, so this is written by a 13-year-old boy, theoretically. Woke from a terrible dream. There was a coyote howling outside. For some reason, I thought it would break in the house and take all the birds. I went to the kitchen to look for them, and outside the windows it was all white, like the house was in a bright fog. The roof was gone, and the full moon was right above. Mama was sitting at the table. Her eyes were shut, but she was not asleep. I had this awful feeling like I wasn't supposed to see her. When I tried to turn away, everything hurt like I was nailed in place. I was afraid, and I asked her. I was afraid, and I asked her where Tita was. She said, Yamero. She said, Yamero, but she was just like a statue. She didn't open her eyes, and the mouth didn't move. She didn't open her eyes, and her mouth didn't move. Above us, the moon went black. I woke up, and there was a big pain in my heart, and my jaw was sore from clenching my teeth. The coyote was real. I could hear it a long way off. I was very worried something had happened to Tita. I felt like maybe she had died and I was all alone again. Then I heard her puttering around and she lit a candle. I guess maybe she had a bad dream too. Okay, so then we need a comma. Then I heard her puttering around in the kitchen. I guess maybe she had a bad dream too. I thought about going out and talking to her, but I didn't. The last time I talked about a dream, she got all weird on me and I had to go talk with a priest. She takes that stuff so seriously. At breakfast, she looked more tired than me. All right, so let's go back to the previous Diario de Martillo. Right. Dashboard, Diario de Martillo. How many days did we put on here? Which is, it's not great because the days. All right, so he ended on day 9. Because they're not sequential. But just because we have these. Let's put this at day 15. Right? And then we'll reconcile this at some later time, but day 16. I never want to see another clay bird in my life. Una keeps chiding me for sloppy lines. I said I was going to take a break because my hands were cramping. She lit into me and said if I would eat my bananas like I'm supposed to. All right, let's try that again. Day 16. I never want to see another clay bird in my life. Una keeps chiding me for sloppy lines. I said I needed a break because my hands were cramping. She lit into me and said if I would eat my bananas like I'm supposed to, then my hands wouldn't cramp. Then, comma. Oh, that's why we didn't. Maybe my hands wouldn't cramp. Then she said I'm lucky to be a kid. That's a, I like that his grandmother is such a bitch. She really is like kind of irascible all the time. I like it. I never want to see another clay bird in my life. Una keeps chiding me for sloppy lines. I said I needed a break because my hands were cramping. She lit into me and said if I would eat my bananas like I'm supposed to, maybe my hands wouldn't cramp. Then she said I'm lucky to be a kid. She says when I get older, my hands will hurt every day because that's how life is. Great. I asked Una how she can paint so good without mistakes. She told me it was because of Grandpa Hector. He used to love building model planes, but eventually his eyes got too bad, even with a magnifying glass. Oh, there's so many she told me here. Yeah, let's try to take out some of the Una told me. My Una said, "Shine your light on the world." She told me it was because of Grandpa Hector. He used to love building model planes, but eventually his eyes got too bad, even with a magnifying glass. When he got sick, she would read him the paper every morning, and then, in the afternoon, they would listen to the radio and build airplanes. He would paint the big pieces, and she would do the details. Even now, she got a little misty remembering it. I said it was cool how she did all that for them, and she waved it away like it was nothing. Hasta que la muerte nos separe, till death do us part. I realize she's kind of doing the same thing with me. It's crazy how different Mama was from Tita. Una used to, Una used to say her men were like the seasons, gone in 3 months. Even if one had stuck around, I don't think. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Even if one had stuck around, I don't think Mama would have ever taken care of. Even if one had stuck around, I don't think Mama would ever take care of them like Una did for Hector. It just wasn't in her. Mm-hmm. If not for living with Tita, I might not have gotten to the doctor in time. Yeah, that's a heavy chapter that we got going on here. I think about how it would have been. I think a lot about how things would be if she was still alive. Long time no see. Oh, well. Xochitl K. Wait, isn't Xochitl some kind of Spanish? Xochitl. Xochitl K. Xochitl K. I vaguely remember, but my mind is a Swiss cheese of ADHD and late stage alcoholism. So, Azteca. So, this whole noir. Oh, yeah, yeah. This whole story is partially in Spanish. We got a chapter right now about a young boy who's suffering from leukemia and his tita. And we're getting into like the emotional meat of the story right here. So if you speak any kind of native or fluent Spanish or whatever, there are many. What do we just have to look into? I think I just had to look into this line. Diary de Martillo. It's a little bit behind where she's yelling at him to get into the car. Yeah, he and his grandmother. Lots of sparks flying off of these two. Uh, what is her line that I had to research here? Oh yeah, where she's like Ghana. Yeah, yeah. This line here. Subete al pinche cara de una vez. Um, so originally we had sube, and there was some question as to whether like Carl was the right term for car here. So it's a station wagon. It's like a was it a Ford Falcon? I think this is set in 1979, and the grandmother, who is ex-military, says "Subete el pinche cara de una vez," which is a lot like her saying "Get in the effing car," um, and it's a little vulgar for like an old lady. So the real questions were like on, does this sound like something period appropriate somebody would say? And I think we use Google Translate, and yeah, most of this is like Google Translate. So it's going to be, even though I've done a lot of double checking and stuff like that, um, there's going to be like a lot of f ups from a non fluent. I'm not even close to fluent. I'm not even conversational in Spanish. But I do love Albuquerque, and I wanted to work in a bunch of Espanol into this guy, and I have. So we'll see how it works out there. But if you do speak Spanish, uh, no, an abuela would cuss. Yeah, yeah, I do know that. Oh yeah, she doesn't hit him with a shoe at any point during this story, but it's implied that she may have in the past. But yeah, she's fierce. She's not fooling around there. So right now we're into his diary, the Diario de Mateo. All right, let me see. So he has a dream about his mother. All right, let's get back to it. They're chanclas. I like. There's a lot about Mexican pastries in this. Um, I get a lot into that. What other stuff that I had to do a lot of research? We did a chapter that was all set in a town called Pinos, which is to the southeast of Zacatecas, and we got a lot into like the history of Pinos and the Mexican Revolution and the war that came like right after it. It was super interesting to do the research. So at some point, his abuela was a shepherd, like just shepherding sheep on a plain called La Trinidad, which is near Pinos. And some dude comes up on her in the middle of the night, and she has to blast him with the escopeta or a shotgun. So I like that chapter. But yeah, that's the kind of thing that's happening in this storyline. The main premise of the story, if you haven't tagged in, is about a boy, Robin Martillo, who is dying of leukemia, and he starts visiting a hobby store in 1979 where guys are playing a war game, which is like very obviously inspired by Warhammer. And Although Warhammer wasn't as big of a deal in 1979 as it would be later. They more got like a big boost in the 90s, but people were playing all kinds of homebrewed RPGs and stuff like that in the 70s. So that's what we're getting to. It's like a little before D&D really makes a big splash too. People just used to hang out in the back of model train stores and fight miniature armies against each other. And so the boy who's into this is he's all about this and starts to, while he's whacked out of his mind on chemotherapy drugs, he starts dreaming of a storyline that's with it. So the storyline that he imagines for their fantasy campaign is interwoven with all the medical drama and so forth, which structurally hugely difficult just for like pacing and whatever here. It's a big challenge. But it wasn't enough for me, so I also wanted to do parts of it in Spanish. So we're getting pretty far away from the like write about what you know dictate, but it's how you have fun with this. Everyone expects me to be heartbroken and to be so heartbroken that she's gone, but I'm more mad about it than anything. She let me down. Yeah, let's keep using mama here. But I'm mostly just mad. She let me down so many times. She let me down so many times. I wish I could talk about it with someone. I would never say this to Tita. She has it rough enough already. She has it rough enough already. First, she lost her husband. Then she tried so hard to save Mama from herself and just couldn't do it. Now she's stuck listening to her sick grandkid throw up every night. She just keeps starting up every day somehow, like the Falcon. Grandma told me my room used to be full of Grandpa's model planes. That's what all the hooks in the ceiling were for. I asked what happened to them. Grandma told me my room used to be full of Grandpa's model planes. That's what all the hooks in the ceiling were for. I asked what happened to them. She gave them away to kids at church when he died. After he died, she gave them away to kids at church. I said I wish I could have seen them, and she told me to wait. She went and got a hat box out of the closet. She came back with a big hat box from her closet. Inside was a P-38M night fighter, painted matte black. It's a twin-engine fighter. Una said the P-38 Lightnings were made through the whole war, and that they perform well against the Japanese Zeros, but not so good in the European theater. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. P-60 would be the night fighter, not the P-38. Let me just check on that. So there was a variant of the P-38 called the P-38M. Lockheed P-38M. The Lockheed P-38M is a specialized two-seat night fighter variant of the P-38 Lightning, converted from the P-38L airframes by Lockheed to meet urgent wartime demands. It was one of the first U.S. fighters equipped with radar, featuring a distinctive elevated rear seat and extended rear canopy to accommodate the radar operator. So this indeed, let's see. So, yeah. So it is a night fighter, but you were probably right that the P-60 night fighter. Let's see. No, I don't. No, so you're thinking of the P-61 Black Widow, right? Um, which comes up later in the story, actually. I think they mentioned a Black Widow elsewhere. I knew the Black Widow one because I thought it was cool that it had like the rear facing thing. That's where the confusion comes in. Okay, cool. I was worried that I had effed this up, and cool. Learned something new. Was it used? I never have read a report on it. Yes, these were actually used back in the day. There. Okay, cool. Um, so I'm not gonna panic because I'm not gonna have to rewrite whole portions of the story around it. But yes, this was. It may not have been called the Night Fighter specifically, so you may get an edit point here. Let me just take a look here at the P-38 Lightning. Let's see. And this variant saw limited combat use in the Guatemalan coup. So approximately 75 P-38Ls were modified into P-38Ms towards the end of World War II. Its top speed exceeded that of the P-61 Black Widow by 30 miles per hour because it had twin Allison V1710 engines. Okay, yeah, so they're two different manufacturers too. One's Northrop, one's Lockheed. Let's see. Yeah, we can just call this the Night Fighter. It's close enough. That might not have been his official designation, but it's like worth looking into there. All right, so as a writer, panic should be the norm. If only. They did well against the Japanese Zeros, but not so good in the youth. All right, so inside was a P-38M Night Fighter painted matte black. It's a twin-engine fighter. Una said the P-38 Lightnings were made through the whole war. They did well against the Japanese Zeros, but not so good in the European theater, where the P-51 Mustang was better. The top U.S. ace The top U.S. ace, Richard Bong, flew one and got 40 victories, but never saw the end of the war. He became a test pilot for Lockheed, forgot to flip a switch in an He forgot to flip a switch in an experimental P-80, and his plane blew up. Mm-hmm. All right. The top U.S. ace, Richard Bong, flew one and got 40 victories, but he never saw the end of the war. He worked as a test pilot for Lockheed and flew the. So I wonder if we should have like after he left the front. Once he got off the front, he worked as a test pilot for Lockheed and flew the experimental P-80. One day, he forgot to flip a switch and his plane blew up. That's rough. I was really impressed by the paint job. It's a very different style than painting LOR miniatures. Wonder if they put the name Marge on it too. Let's see. The P-80 that killed Richard Bong. I don't think they paint the jet that killed Richard Bong. 5 facts about the P-80 shooting star. The project was incredibly secretive. Only 130 people worked on it. Only 5 knew the details. It was built under a circus tent in the Skunk Works. It changed how we looked at speed. Given 150 days to create the P-80, workers labored 10 hours a day, 6 days a week to complete it in 143 days. On January 27, 1946, Colonel William H. Council flew the first transcontinental jet flight. The 2,457 miles between Long Beach and New York took 4 hours and 13 minutes. His average speed was 584 miles per hour. The P-80 served in World War II, but just barely. They served in Italy for recon. It would later play a crucial role in the Korean War. And then testing the P-80 proved to be extremely dangerous. It was a test pilot killer. Its victims included Richard Bong. Another test pilot had been killed just 3 days before. Jet aircraft was simply a different beast with an incredible leap in speed capacities and entirely new concepts to consider. 23 military jets crashed between 1945 and 1950, killing 36. Wow. It was a cool looking plane. I remember seeing these like way back in the day. I'm just bombing my school. No. I wonder what the P-80 shooting, did it like eventually become a Falcon or something? Anyhow, it's not going to get this edited here, but I don't think they normally write stuff on test aircraft because they blow up all the time. I was really impressed by the paint job. It's a very different style than painting LRR miniatures. Much more subdued and realistic. Under the cockpit, in tiny silver cursive script, Una wrote Capolina and painted a little spider insignia with a crimson hourglass on its belly. So cool. I asked if I could hang it up in my room, and she said yes, if I was careful and I didn't let it get dusty. I could tell she's super proud of it. Tita said she had to freehand all the insignias and lettering because decals would be too shiny against the matte paint. It must have been so crazy to fly one of these out in the middle of the Pacific. I asked Tito what it takes to become a pilot, and she said my grades would have to get better in a hurry. I asked Tito what it takes to become a pilot. She said my grades would have to get better in a hurry. I decided it's probably not worth it. I like the grandfather-child dynamic a lot here. It's super fun to write. All right, I'm going to keep in the... So I was kind of wondering whether or not I would keep in the diary chapters, but I'm going to do it. Day 17, Saturday. No nausea, no fog, no headache. Even Una was in a good mood. She's been saving up to go to Isleta Pueblo and play bingo on the reservation. The big jackpot is $50,000. Tita said I should save some of my bird money and come play with her when I turn 18. She can play 24 cards at once. She says the best players can play 36. It's nice to see her finally excited about something. She was smiling when she dropped me off at Duke Games, so this is the one thing the grandmother likes, gambling. This time, comma. All right, so this should be 7 days after the previous chapter, so we can maybe fix this here. I don't think there are more diary things after this. So let me see if the last Diario de Martillo, which was like chapter 5, I think. All right, so what do we do? Day 7, day 9. He goes to orientation. New player day. Okay, so he goes to new player day on day 9 of the diary. Okay. So how many days take place there? So day 9 is there. Um, and then they go to another treatment. So it's got to be a kind of like a week later. So, so day 9 would be, and then let's say that day 9 is like a Thursday. So it goes to like a new player day on a Thursday, and then we would be 9 days later. So it'd be day 18 by the time he goes to play the thing. So he plays this thing on day 18, right? So how far that gets there? Day 18. Okay, what happens in our story since then? All right, so they get into like the birds. Uh-huh. So this should just be. So he has the terrible dream, and I don't think he goes to like play at the store or whatever. So day 18. Let's just do this ending on day 27 is where he goes to play the game there. Cool. And then we can just back all these up here. This really needs somebody who is not me, like not on a live stream to like sit down and figure this out, but whatever. Day 25. Cool. Because yeah, fixing dates and stuff is boring. That mama is gone. There we go. Under the cockpit. Yeah. Saturday, Saturday. Wait. If day 18, then this should be day 25 because I can't count. Because it should be 7 days later after the whole thing. Gah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, there we go. They don't even have to be sequential there. I don't. Diary of Hammer. Yeah, he's a martillo, and his grandmother is named Una. So it works. The Hammer family. It's like a long history of guys in like military science fiction being named Hammer or whatever. There's a series that I remember shelving all the time called Hammers Slammers. And then there's been like a few other ones, but yeah, it's not like a super common family name. Hammer versus Diary. Diary of the Hammer. uh, yeah, Diario de Martillo doesn't, because it's just supposed to be Martillo's diary, is what I want to say there. Um, but Trini Lopez, if I had a hammer, oh yeah, yeah. Remix it. Let's all right. Let's go back to this guy. Oh well, he talks a lot here. He blogs constantly here. This is too long. All right. This time I made sure to show up early and have my pick of the case. I looked at some of the knights, but the more I thought about it, they're just not that good without a larger army around them to protect them. They're just not that good with. Yeah. I looked at some of the knights, but the more I thought about it, they're just not that good without a larger army to protect them. I thought about going all elves. Elves should be capital. But I hate to lose the berserkers. They hit so hard. I worried someone else would take them and I'd have to play against them. In the end, I decided to just go with the same army as last week. Since I didn't have to need to Since I didn't need to worry about them breaking under barrage, I could take less Imperial halberdiers and field the shield bearers without an onus. Duncan was surprised by my picks. I told him I kind of had a storyline. I told him I had kind of like a storyline. Yeah. I told him I had kind of a storyline going in my head. He said I should write it down and they'd try to weave it into the campaign. Maybe someday I can make a comic book or a short story out of it. I even have a name for my army, the Heartbroken Brigade. He told me. Duncan told me if I can get a general for them to make it official. Mm-hmm. Duncan told me if I can get a general to lead my army, he'll let me play in the regular campaign. I hate this. That would be amazing. One thing is, the store doesn't own all the units in the case. The dwarves are Duncan's, the Hawkmoon belonged to Chuck's older brother who left for college, and the halberdiers are from Sandy's old army. Players loan them to the store. This is a plot point. One thing is, the store doesn't own all the units in the case. The dwarves are Duncan's. The dwarves are Duncan's, but the Hawkmoon belonged to Chuck's older brother who left for college. The halberdiers are from Sandy's old army. Players leave them at the store for other people to use, but they can take them back at any time. It would be best if I got my own army. There were 3 other new players this week. I got to play in 2 skirmishes. The first was with Sammy Wilson, Bill's younger brother. Sammy played Chaos Knights. Bill and Jeremy Curry were playing on the table besides ours. Duncan set up both battles with river terrain and said our battle was taking place upriver. Said their battle was taking. Yeah. Duncan set both battles up with river terrain and said JC and Bill were fighting upriver from us. The outcomes of these battles would. Mm-hmm. All right. So yeah, we have like all this emotional resonance in the Una chapter, and it's kind of lacking a little bit in this section where he's just talking about the battles. Um, Duncan set both battles up with river terrain and said JC and Bill. The outcomes of our battles would determine if the villages. All right. Yes. So clunky. Duncan set up both battles with river terrain. Mm-hmm. With cottages and river terrain. JC and Bill were supposed to be fighting upriver from us. The outcomes of our battles would determine if the villages would survive and be able to contribute troops and supplies later in the campaign. Duncan showed us their big map. All over it, there were battle markers and skulls over destroyed villages. It really. Awesome. It really raised the stakes and motivated me to save the little river town. Sammy played Chaos Knights from Bill's old army. I think he says earlier. Yeah, so we don't need to repeat this. Whew. This is the hard part. Sammy played Chaos Knights from Bill's old army. He needed a lot of help with the rules. Luckily, I could remember most of them, so we didn't have to bug the referee. The game was night and day from playing with Jeremy. Sammy was just happy to be there. Right away, I could tell he didn't really care about winning. He just wanted to charge and roll big handfuls of dice. It almost worked. His charge wrecked my halberdiers, but the master halberdier has a special save if they lose half their unit in a single turn. This let them hold together long enough for the berserkers to engage. Sammy had to commit his footmen to try and stop them, and that let the A. Let's let my Hawkmoon pick shots on his high-value units and clean up on VP. Alright. Mm-hmm. Just let my Hawkmoon pick shots on his high-value units and clean up on VP. Sammy lost hard, but he had fun anyway, comma. I guess he's had to compete with an older brother his whole life, so he's used to losing all the time. It would drive me crazy. Next to us, JC and Bill took their game way more seriously. I was worried Bill would spend our whole game giving his brother advice, but he was preoccupied trying to survive. Bill played Gorelord Goblins. JC played a magic-heavy Chaos army based around his new Rift Master. On the second turn, they got into an argument over the amphibious assault rules. I looked them up too, and I agree. The wording is ambiguous. Duncan came over and ruled they would do a coin flip. It went in Bill's favor, but JC still won because his Rift Master just wrecked everyone. His Rift Master just... yeah, we don't need the word just. His Rift Master wrecked everyone in the magic phase. It's critical to stop him before the Summoner Coven gets going. The Gorelords seem strong too, if they can get into melee. The evil armies are very strong. I'm going to have a tough time if I get to play in the campaign. We were supposed to fight Victor versus Victor, but Bill and Sammy asked if we could change opponents so they didn't have to play each brother versus brother. JC was on board. He wanted an easy win. On paper, I didn't think my army was that great against Bill's Gorelord Goblins. I was happy to agree, though. I'd almost rather lose than have to suffer through another game with JC again. Goblins are so strong. They get a big ancient enemy bonus against dwarves. Their base units are super cheap and have a lot of flexibility. Bill was playing for blood. He has a big case full of hobgoblins. Why is this spelled this way? Bill was playing for blood. He has a big case full of special units and monsters which let him tailor a force to beat mine. I was stuck with what was in the case. The scenario didn't do me any favors either. There was no high ground to deploy the Hawkmoon, and I had to hold against an attack from two directions. For the first 3 turns, I turtled up, but the casualties mounted and more Gorelord reinforcements poured in. Finally, things got grim enough that I had no choice but to have Bobbert cast his spell. Big mistake. I rolled awful, and it was right to the arcane disaster table. The fumbling, loyal apprentice managed to blow up the very alehouse he'd sworn to defend. The whole room broke out laughing at my bad luck. At least I went out with a bang. The heartbroken brigade was forced into an ignominious retreat while the Evo Gobos danced in the burning ruins of the Brambleberry Tavern. Mm-hmm. This battle really highlighted how badly I need to get a real general for my army. Okay, there we go. We should say, mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish I had a little more about like what the objectives are, but this section is so overloaded with details. I think a lot of people are going to tune out on this, and it needs to be cut. Maybe not cut the whole chapter, but it's long. I think this feels like it's like 4,500 words or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Are you sure it's a chapter? 4,500 is a short story. Yeah, I tried to like have the chapters come in at like under 2,500. Um, but like in fantasy, your chapter can sprawl so hardcore. Um, it's important to get some of these game mechanics and stuff in earlier at the day. But yeah, so this probably needs like another pass to cut a bunch of this out. It seems longer because we're like bogged down in it too. So we'll do the edit and I'll do a reread at some point and figure out what I can cut. I hate cutting. Let's see. If Astartes show up, it'll definitely be interesting. There's no Astartes in like yeah, they'd have to come through like a warp portal from 40K. Let's see. The first game was the storming of Stolkencolt. I needed to hold a bridge against an attack by Chaos Cavalry. Sammy chose the Traitor Knights. Yeah, chaos finds a way. Oh man. Yeah, that's like honestly like the mythos with like the forecast gods. It was like the most interesting part of 40K to me. I uh could never get with like the Necrons, and I don't know what the Tau are doing, and I think they're bringing back like the squats at some point. It's just it got so goofy after a bit. And I've tried to read through like some of the novels and stuff. I can't do it. People even said like check out like Dan Abnett's stuff, but man, I could not plow through that at all. I tried. You know, I'd like to. I'm happier just reading like the wiki for all their lore and stuff. But I used to read all the codexes and stuff back in the day, and like every White Dwarf magazine I could find. And then I downloaded like a whole EPUB of like the entire deal. I was just plowing through them. I'd love to see better scans of them though. Like a lot of the piracy was like way back in the day, while people were still pirating stuff over dial-up. So the oh yeah, I've gone all through like the SCP wiki. I like that there's tons of drama in like the whole SCP wiki, just like people fighting and misgendering each other and like all this not online nonsense. But yeah, like any community where it's like full of drama and people are like rage quitting and hating each other and stuff. I just, I enjoy that kind of thing. Wait, hold on. If I turn this here, can I light up the? Oh yeah, I can light up this whole thing. That's kind of cool. I don't know if it's better or worse. No, it's worse. A little. And you can still get incandescent light bulbs over here, which is cool. So, so I'm not a big fan of the LEDs. Okay, cool. So we're cutting out like a lot of the detail on Sammy's army, um, because we talk about the other army there, and like it's just assumed that he's playing like basically like the same traitor knights as like the Jirelian the Cur thing. All right, cool. And everywhere here, I'm trying to work in like a little bit of his emotion here. Like here, we get like some detail that um, where Sammy has had to like compete with an older brother his whole life, so he's used to losing all the time, and Robin's glad he doesn't have to do that, and so forth. That's useful. So I want to have like reveals on character detail and how these things are making him feel and so forth. Because really, like details are boring, and like everybody can relate to emotion always. So, and there is some like tension between these guys, but yeah, very wordy and a lot of stuff here. Mm-hmm. All right, so we were here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh hell! All right, just spilled a bunch of water on a keyboard, which is a scissor key type. Oof. Yeah, we'll see what comes of that. By the way, this is a Logitech MX Master keyboard. I do not recommend. Um, yeah, they're just not having a like a height adjust on the keyboard is such a pain. I really want like a better angle adjust and so forth. Yeah, it's kind of like their take on a Mac keyboard, and I guess maybe it's better than a Magic keyboard if you're in the market for that type thing. But this is not my preference. I think normally I type on like a Mac laptop, and like the spacing is a little better. This is our keyboard complaint minute. Oh, the Cherry brand, yeah, yeah, yeah. Usually, like my main keyboard for on day to day use is like one of those Corsair something 80s or something. They're really expensive though. It's about time to replace it, and I'm like probably gonna go for something cheaper this time. I don't need the only thing I really want on like a keyboard is I want to have a number pad and I want to have like a volume wheel on the keyboard, and for the keys to feel nice. That's all I want. And for not to take up too much space on the thing. So we'll look into it. It was bad luck. My army is much weaker on the. Okay. We played the Battle for Brambleberry scenario. The Heartbroken Brigade needed to liberate a tavern which was infested. It was a rough draw for me. My army is much weaker on the attack. The Gorelord are so strong. They get a big ancient enemy bonus against dwarves. Their base units are. Oh, goblins needs to be capital. There we go. Their base units are super cheap and have a lot of flexibility. Bill was playing for blood. You know, yeah. Alright, let's try this again. The Gorelord are so strong. Their base units are cheap and they get a big ancient enemy bonus against dwarves. Bill was playing for blood. He's got a huge case of units that let him tailor his list to beat my army. Tailor his list. I was stuck with what I had. Meanwhile, I was stuck with what I had. What's the price range for keyboard and wired or wireless? I don't care if it's wired or wireless. I guess I prefer wired. No reason to like have to charge something or whatever. I guess I'll probably spend under $150 when I replace it. Yeah, just over time, like the keyboards just get so gross over time, and it's like a lot of effort to like maybe I can hook up an air compressor and just blast it out. That'd be like a good and like I wish I could just dunk the thing in water and like just soak off all the grime. 24 media plus 10 key. The one thing I do like on the Corsair is like the volume wheel. So let me stream keyboard, Cherry Stream keyboard on Amazon. Let me take a look at this guy. Yeah, I'm not much of an epic gamer anymore. Cherry Stream, budget friendly. Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't rock with I can't rock with that guy. Whisper quiet keys. That'd actually be kind of nice. Huh. High price. We have recently seen better prices on Amazon for other retailers for this unit. Well, they don't deliver to Romania. Yeah. I think I need something a little fancier than this guy. Cherry Stream. Oh, and I'd have to get on Prime. They don't look terrible. Durable labeling. Yeah, maybe I'll embezzle some of these. Let's take a look. But yeah, if you like it, thank you for the recommend there. Feels good when I'm writing, but I also like a quiet keyboard. I don't like that's not too bad. But yeah. All right, the Gorelord are so strong. Their base units are cheap, and they get a big ancient enemy bonus against dwarves. Bill was playing for blood. He's got a huge case of units that let him tailor his list. Meanwhile, I was stuck with what I had. The scenario didn't do me any favors either. There was no high ground to deploy the Hawkmoon, and I had to hold against an attack from two directions. For the first 3 turns, I turtled up, but casualties mounted, and more Gorelord reinforcements poured in. Finally, things got grim enough that I had no choice but to have Bobbert cast his spell. Big mistake. I rolled awful, and it was right to the arcane disaster table. The fumbling, loyal apprentice managed to blow up the very alehouse we'd sworn to defend. The whole room broke out. Sworn to liberate. We'd sworn to liberate. The whole room broke out laughing at my bad luck. At least I went out with a bang. The heartbroken brigade was forced into an ignominious retreat, while the Evo Gabos danced in the burning ruins of the Brambleberry Tavern. This battle really highlighted how badly I need to get a real general for my army. Brackakak Back, the Sorcerer Supreme, was a Brackakak Back, the Sorcerer Supreme, was a huge part of Bill's victory. The Warlord Aura made his cheap units much harder to break, and he could run the table during the magic phase. I have my eye on Prescote the Sage. He pairs well with Bobbert, and the model isn't too expensive. I need to paint more birds. Una had much better luck than me. She picked me up with a huge smile and 4 new tires on the Falcon. Bingo! She didn't hit the big one, but still had enough. She didn't hit the big one, but she still won enough to get new tires and take us. Okay, So if you watch Breaking Bad, you have seen the doghouse. It's where Jesse does all of his drug deals and buys a pistol to kill Walter White or something like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's the one with like the blinking neon, whatever. Una had much better luck than me. She picked me up with a huge smile. She rolled up with a huge smile and four brand new tires on the Falcon. Bingo. She didn't hit the big one, but still won enough to get new tires. But still won a fair bit. She took us to the doghouse to celebrate. Tita ate 2 chili dogs with an orange soda. I got a Frito pie and a cherry shake. We were both groaning on the drive home, but in a good way. I didn't even throw up. I'd hoped to get some birds done before bed, but I was yawning before I got in the door. I wanted to paint some birds before bed, but I could barely keep my eyes open. Una said the birds would still be there tomorrow. Best day in a long, long time. I realized I hadn't even thought about being sick all day. Maybe it means I'm getting better. I really hope so. Okay, cool. So, not too bad. I need to put some oil on this chair also. I'm here. Let's see. All right, so how many words was this actually? It feels like more like 3,500 than 4,500, honestly. Maybe not even that. Maybe this is just 250 or 2,500. Tools, word count. Yes, 2,200 words. This is fine. This is fine. Yeah, I have lost the feeling for how long things are because I haven't been editing for like a long time. Okay, let's add a new chapter. If you are not already publishing your stuff on Royal Road, I really like it, honestly. Like you just get some instant feedback from people, build a little buzz and stuff like that. It's not the end of the world if just a draft is up or whatever. Yeah, my covers are dope too. I like all these. I love the Rapasaurus cover, and then Gravid is dope. Like I like the Zeros one. The rest, can live without. All the way on the end, you could see the original cover for the Chronicle of General Martillo. Honestly, like that cover looks better than this one. I'm gonna swap it over. Yeah, I do not like this chapter. All right, so wait, I don't remember what chapter we're on. Chapter 11. Diario de Martillo dos. All right, cool. And inside day 23. Cool. I don't want. So it just tells like 3 days in the life of this sick kid. A little long, but I write fan fiction. I have not graduated to publish yet. Well, there you have it there. I never understood the appeal of fan fiction there, but I'm, intensely prideful. So I would like never get into somebody else's thing. Like, no, I'm gonna do my own thing or whatever. But yeah, man, it's easier if there's like an established canon where you can like write the rules and stuff. Um, but yeah, like I could never. Yeah, man, pride is a killer. It really does make you do a lot of stuff that makes your life harder. Okay, so now we got 2 chapters on this guy. And let's go to Royal Roji. And because we're publishing 2 chapters, cool. So we can see that 4 are there. The Fate of the Hapet. Yeah, my cover is doing me no favor. I'm going to swap over to that little bird thing that's in black and white. Maybe I can do a little to like tune it up. But yeah, I think I dig it. And then I'll do a little work on maybe because if you look, like, all people are seeing is this like tiny little icon there, and then when you click on the page, you get to see like this is as big as it can possibly get there, and just the composition book is doing me no favors, so I'll work on that a little bit. All right, well, thank you for joining me, Xochitl K and DNSK and so forth. Makes it a little less lonely to be doing this nonsense here, and I'm very pleased that we got like 2 chapters knocked out, and really starting to like catch up. Yeah, you can see we start 27 days, and then like 13 days pass, and then yes, real choppy there. All right, y'all. Good luck with today. DNSK, stay on the straight and narrow. Even though I effed up and talked about drug stuff later, sobriety is the best drug you can do, 100%. And yeah, I appreciate it, everybody. Let me get out of here.